So today we're gonna make together chicken and mushroom pizza in a baking tray. Make sure that you watch the recipe entirely in order to get the best results. Now, one of the biggest challenges people have when making pizza is the dough, which, to be fair, is not actually that complicated, and we're gonna try to keep it nice and simple today with just a few ingredients, which is how the pizza dough should be. And I've got here 325 milliliters of lukewarm water, and this goes straight into a big bowl. Now we are following with a 7-gram sachet of dry yeast. This is perfect because it's ready measured for the ingredients we've got here. In order to activate the yeast, because it's kind of dormant at this point, being dry, we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of custard sugar, and this combined with the liquid, it will bring this to life. In goes about 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Now get a fork and mix everything together. To this liquid we're going in with 400 grams of strong white flour. Ideally you want 00 flour. The next best option is strong white flour because it's got a high content of gluten, which is what you want when you're making bread or pizza. Before you go in with your flour, make sure that you sift it. This is quite an important step because in case there are any impurities into the flour, you can get rid of them, and not just that, it will get the dough to a better consistency by aerating that flour. In goes also 100 grams of fine semolina flour. This will give to the dough a nice crispy texture. Add in 1 teaspoon of table salt, and we're gonna start simple. Get a fork and try to combine the liquid with the flour. Now you could get this done in a bread mixer, but I do like doing this by hand. Now we want it sticky, but not that sticky to be fair, so we're gonna go in with another 1 or 2 tablespoons of flour just to get it right. In terms of kneading, we need to do this for about 3 to 5 minutes, making sure that you work out that gluten because that will give us a nice texture once we're baking the pizza. And this is the consistency you're looking for. It's still sticky, but not to the point that you can't work with it. It goes back into the bowl after 5 minutes of kneading. Put a clean towel on top and leave it to proof for about an hour to 1.5 or until it doubles in size. Now stay here because we're gonna continue with the tomato sauce for the pizza, which I know you're kind of tempted to getting it from the shop, but I'm gonna show you a nice and easy recipe to get it right every single time. And I've got here 3 cloves of garlic, and we're gonna try to chop this as fine as we can. Now set a saucepan on medium heat and add in about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. In goes the garlic, and we're gonna cook this for about 1 to 2 minutes or until it starts getting just a bit of color. After about 2 minutes of cooking, we're going in with 1 tin of peeled plant tomatoes. Now, in terms of seasoning, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm going in with a good pinch of table salt, same amount of freshly ground black pepper, and a pinch of chili flakes. At the same time, I wanna get in a bit of Mediterranean flavor. A good pinch of dry oregano goes in. Now the plan is to simmer this for up to 5 minutes, and after that we're gonna get in the potato masher to get it into a rough texture sauce. So our dough is now doubled in size. Look at it, how beautiful it looks like. And now we're gonna split this into 2 identical dough balls. We're working with half, and the other half goes back into the bowl, and cover it and just put it on the side whilst we're dealing with this one. In terms of thickness, we are looking for about 1/2 centimeter. So I've got here the tray, I've got some baking paper at the bottom just so we don't get into any issues in terms of sticking. Try to go up to the corners as well, making sure that the tray is well covered with the dough. Once you get at this point, make sure that your oven is set at 240 or 250 degrees Celsius. It all depends if you can reach 250, but if you can, go for 250 because we're gonna get a nice color on the pizza this way. And leave this for about 10 to 15 minutes because you wanna get it the chance to rise again slightly before adding the rest of the ingredients. And in this situation, the chicken is a leftover ingredient from previous recipes that I had in the freezer. So I decided to fry it and then chop it up and add it on the pizza. Kind of the same thing with the mushrooms, which we had them in there for a while. Okay, so now with the oven at the right temperature, I've got here the tomato sauce, which goes first. Go till right at the edges of your dough. In terms of cheese, I've got here a combination of cheddar with Emmental cheese because that's what I had left over in the fridge. So I combined these together with some fresh mozzarella, which this was bought specifically for this recipe. Let's keep it honest here. I'm gonna break this fresh mozzarella. You don't want to go with too much of these, you know, probably half or even a quarter is fine because it's quite watery and then the dough is gonna get kind of soggy. We're following with the cooked chicken and the mushrooms. Make sure you spread these evenly over all the surface of your dough. Now we're gonna get this into the oven for about 15 minutes I would say 15 to 20 is probably what you're looking for. Make sure that you check every now and then, and when you see that it gets a nice golden brown color on the outside, then you know it's ready. Okay, so after about 15 minutes, this is what we've got. Give it about 2-3 minutes, I would say, for the cheese to set up slightly. And if you enjoyed this recipe, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more simple recipes like this, and I'll see you in the next one.